Yes, I saw most of the country, most of the eastern half of the country yesterday, and and we are now in Cleveland, Ohio through Sunday morning, and then I'm actually in Vermont for a month, so that'll be
Yeah.
nice. That will
And
be
Vermont
nice.
is going to be beautiful, especially you're going to be in Stowe, which is
Yes,
great.
should be a fantastic time there. Hey everybody, she's Bobby. I'm Joe. We're getting ready to make 2 episodes of the Money with Friends audio podcast. So we have a good time doing this. I've been looking forward to this. I look forward to this all day yesterday
Yes.
while I was driving. By the way,
you have 5 tapings today, by the way. 5. But this is your favorite one, right?
This is by far the favorite.
Don't
like the
tell
rest
OG.
of them are here. This one's right here. And then let me share with you the professional setup we have here. I'm going to take, there's a little tiny light right here. I'm in a spare bedroom because that's the way that all the big time broadcasters do this. And I was showing Bobby earlier, most of the professional studios that she's worked in to get that right lighting look, use a lamp that looks like this. Because this is the way that that's the way we do it to get enough lighting. I actually do have a light that's pretty powerful right back here, but it's so bright it darkens me in the front. So looks like I'm in the witness protection program.
I think you're absolutely glowing today, Joe.
Well, thank you. I do got like a little campfire thing going. Look at all the shadows. Yeah. So anyway, hey, Ron, Jim, Michael. Glad you guys are all here. We are on both YouTube and Facebook right now. So going to be a fun ride. Bobby and I normally record later this week. However, our friend Paula is traveling today. She's going to be on with me in the days that Bobby and I are usually on. So we're just flipping these around. So Bobby's nice enough to be versatile and
actually, you know what? And I did not, I like to say the dates. I'm just not even going to say the dates.
Okay.
Or I'm not going to say the dates just in case things get messed up.
We're doing the Wells Fargo one first.
We are? Okay.
That's the timely one of the 2.
Okay, fine. That's also the one that Joe chose. So, you know,
that's not why. I just looked at the 2 and said, of the 2, one's an announcement. The other one is what's happening, which will be happening.
The other one's more of a trend piece.
Yes, which is ugly. Hey, Adrian. All right. I think we're ready. Oh, this is a very short piece as well.
Yes. But I did a little extra homework, Joe. I have a little refresh for our audience of why this bank has had such controversy. There's a timeline, but it was too much to get in, so we have some highlights from the timeline.
Oh,
we won't have the whole thing. Oh, I didn't even look. I think we put this out. I think Ashley put this out, by the way. I should look to our Instagram audience. So let me at least look so that I'm ready.
By the way, Bobby, I'll read this.
Ready today.
There's only 4 paragraphs. I'll read the first 2. You read the second 2.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. You're going to love the results of this Instagram poll. OMG.
OMG.
Oh, my gosh.
LOL.
No, it's not LOL when it comes to Wells Fargo because it's a lot of money. That's, you know, it's some serious stuff. So we're not going to do LOL with Wells Fargo. But
I agree with you, Adrian.
We're going to quiz Joe about whether we asked our Instagram audience. This is a behind the scenes peek of what's coming ahead. We asked our Instagram audience whether they're going to trust Wells Fargo. And the answer surprised me.
All right, let me center this. All right, guys, I think we're ready to make a podcast. Let me hit a record. So this will be for Thursday, July 30th. Where did July go?
Thursday. Oh, right, because today would be Wednesday.
Yes, and by the way, I think I quit counting days in March. Like when COVID hit, I quit counting days.
It's a blur. My son wanted to know weekend rules versus weekday rules because usually you have school night stuff versus weekend rules. I said, it's all the same, honey. There's no change. You don't get a later bedtime on the weekends. It's just one big endless day after day.
There's only day.
There's just days.
There's only day, kid. Welcome to the new reality. Let mom be the first one to introduce you. Yeah. Right. All right.
Are we rolling?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we think this is for Thursday.
This is for Thursday. Correct.
On this episode of Money with Friends, a bank that has a history of scandals is moving into a new market. Will investors buy in? Welcome to the Money with Friends podcast. I am certified financial planner, Bobbi Rebell, host of the Financial Grown Up podcast, coming to you from my very grown up kitchen in New York City.
And coming to you from my mom's half-finished basement, which happens to be in Cleveland, Ohio for the next few days. We'll make the Stacky Benjamin Show. I'm Joe Saul-Sehy.
This is the Money News Show that includes commentary on recent headlines and stories with thought leaders from across the financial landscape. We break those stories down into what matters to you, our friends, and we leave you with a takeaway to make it your own.
Today's show is brought to you by NordPass. NordPass locks your passwords and you hold the key. With NordPass, store your passwords in the cloud, access them on the desktop, mobile, or your favorite browser, all encrypted on your device for your eyes only. Get up to 50% off, a 30-day money-back guarantee, and a free month by using our link, nordpass.com/MWF. And man, a company that I'm trying to draw the analogy, a company that might have didn't violate passwords, but might have violated a little trust we're going to talk about today.
Yep.
Yeah, good times.
It has not been a good track record.
It may or it might not have been. We're going to talk about a singular bank today. Let's get this party started. Who's going to help us kick it off? All right, today's piece comes to us from Investment News, an industry rag for investment advisors, where they just relay the newest stuff. Found this interesting. Wells Fargo, it says, files with SEC to offer exchange-traded funds. Wells Fargo and companies planning to join the $4.5 trillion exchange-traded fund industry, one of the last major asset managers to enter the fray. The fourth biggest U.S. bank by assets is seeking to register the Wells Fargo Exchange Traded Funds Trust with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, according to a Monday filing. If approved, Wells would be able to issue its own ETFs, although they haven't registered any individual funds yet. Bobby?
The San Francisco-based company joins rivals JP Morgan Chase, Goldman Sachs Group, which have about $36 billion and $17 billion in their ETFs, respectively. Another large peer, Morgan Stanley, does not have any ETFs. Wells Fargo had $1.97 trillion in assets and $935 billion in loans at the end of the second quarter. So this piece leaves out what we've sort of alluded to, Joe, which is their past scandals.
Misgivings.
What it is, scandals and bad behavior that they've been caught.
Bad behavior at Wells Fargo? Say it ain't
bad behavior. So I wrote down some of the highlights of their bad behavior just as a quick reminder.
No. You wrote down the lowlights.
The lowlights. So you may remember they first came to prominence for this kind of stuff in September 26th. There was a fake account scandal. They had $185 million in fines from this Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, and all these other places. Basically, they created 1.5 million fake deposit accounts and more than 500,000 fake credit cards in its customers' names without their permission. Other lowlights also from that year include improperly repossessing service members' cars. Wells Fargo apparently was improperly repossessing cars of members of the military. Isn't that nice? March 2017, there were more fake accounts. A new estimate, 3.5 million fake accounts emerges. We also had a whistleblower lawsuit in there, and then also a lawsuit over overcharging small business retailers. And most recently in February of 2018, or most recently on this timeline, I should say, this is not a complete timeline, everyone. Sacramento sued over discrimination against Black and Latino borrowers. So
not only that,
those are just some lowlights.
Sure. And there were things that we reported on earlier this year, which were not criminal, but we just made it sound tone deaf. Remember when we talked about them raising fees on some accounts, like a company that's already not very trusted in going ahead and raising fees. Like the bean counters are in control, but not anybody that understands marketing 101.
Yeah.
And now they're offering exchange traded funds. So first of all, Bobby, Wells Fargo and exchange traded funds. Is there any opportunity you see for them to maybe do some bad stuff here?
Well, no one can predict that. What I can tell you is, as a business, one of the reasons that they're probably getting into this is that this market is seeing a lot of growth. Investors have shifted a lot to passive investing. And so they're generally looking for products like ETFs because, in general, they have lower costs. So this is what they see legitimately as a business if they are trying to get back on their feet and grow. ETFs is it's a growing business. So that makes sense. It's also of note that they recently cut their dividend. So they announced just on Tuesday that their board of directors is declaring they only are doing 10 cents per share, and that is down from the 51 cents per share that it previously paid. So, they need to be doing something.
Which is interesting because, and I didn't look at Wells Fargo's last quarter and how they did, but banking right now should be making money hand over fist. Just absolutely hand over fist. So to cut your dividend right now, maybe a little strange, but here is the thing. And once again, this is not Wells Fargo. In fairness to Wells Fargo, this is just any sales organization, even though there are laws that say that there have to be between the sales organization and the bank and the investment area, there has to be a wall there. You've often seen, Bobby, companies that cross that wall and they can explain it away. But when you've got as big a sales force as Wells Fargo has, and you can now have some in-house cooking where you get not only the sales force, but guess what? We can offer you an ETF that happens to have the same name. May or may not be a good idea for customers, but certainly the more you can keep those fees in-house, the better for Wells Fargo.
Of course. Yeah. They certainly do need the help. Their second quarter, they had revenue was down 18% year over year. And then their bottom line, they were in the red at 2.4 billion in the red. So they really need to be doing something. And ETFs is an area that has shown growth, as I mentioned. And so look, from a bank perspective, this is probably a move that is going to be positive in that, it's an area that's growing. So why not try to get into it? And look, they still have customers. People are still there because if you're tied into a mortgage, you're tied into some kind of a loan. There's also just, let's face it, inertia. If you have all of your accounts there, not everyone may be as bothered as we are by what's happened. And again, if you have things that are locked in there, it doesn't mean just because they're doing all these things or they have done these things in the past, I should say. Some allegedly, some are still being, some are still in the legal system. But if you have a loan at the best rate you can have, there's a cost to moving. So not everyone wants to move. So you may already be a Wells Fargo person. You may have a relationship with somebody that is your direct banker there that you do trust, that has not done bad things. There are plenty of good people at companies like Wells Fargo. Sure. And if you work with somebody that you trust and the product is comparable to similar products at rivals and you could do it with the least amount of friction, it could make sense to you. And it might not be a bad business move for Wells Fargo to offer this.
No, and you make a great point that business assets, especially banking assets, are very sticky. Once you set up a bank account, you set up all these automatic withdrawals and deposits into that bank account. Changing your bank is ugly. It is very, very difficult. And, we do the show live on Facebook and YouTube. You can join us on our YouTube page, facebook.com/money with friends, or the Stacky Benjamins Facebook page, facebook.com/iStackBenjamins. But Adrian is hanging out with us and says, why is Wells Fargo even in business anymore? Just why? 3 question marks. The reason why, Adrian, is because of some good people there, which is what Bobby talked about. And I totally agree with that. And the second piece, though, is the time cost to change is so big. But I also think that thinking about your bank and what services you get from your bank, that could pay huge dividends for people, Bobby, because you look at banks like Wells Fargo and Bank of America as another, list of these usual suspects with some fairly high fees in that industry. The amount of money that can pay you over time to switch that relationship for the average consumer could be a great use of time.
It could be a great use of time. But again, sometimes, for example, you may have a rate that's preferable because I remember when I worked at Reuters, the company had a relationship with a bank. And because we were employees of Reuters, we got a better rate. Right. So there are overriding factors where sometimes there is a reason to be at a bank. And as long as you're watching, making sure that you don't have fake accounts opened for you without your information. I shouldn't even say fake accounts open. There were actual accounts opened. without people's knowledge. So you got to really watch that. And it's not that it couldn't happen somewhere else. So there are reasons why people might stay. And, there, like I said, there are a lot of good people that work at different banks. And I, by the way, have no relationship with Wells Fargo Bank in any, in terms of my business or anything, any reason to be endorsing them in any way. I'm just trying to present the fact that there are reasons, because Adrian brings it up, why people would stay with there. It's very sticky. And also sometimes that is the place you are getting the best deal.
It's also interesting. You talked about exchange traded funds and low fees, and generally people hear ETF and they hear low fees. And we've done stories on this as well in the past, that ETF does not have to have a low fee. And there are a lot of companies out there lately, especially Bobby, you're seeing a lot of the fee structure on new ETFs coming out, getting higher and higher and higher. And it's partly because people assume that because it's an ETF, it's going to have a low fee. That actually doesn't. It is true currently for the current crop, but as we see new ones coming out, it might not be true forever. So you want to check your ETF to see what's going on. We actually asked our friends on Instagram what they thought. I thought this was a pretty good question.
Yes, we asked them, do you trust Wells Fargo? Very simple, straight up. Do you trust Wells Fargo? Yes or no?
I would, it's okay. Let's be really cynical and say 100% no.
So we just got a few that said they do trust it. When we went, literally, this is how many people are answering. But when we started recording, it was 100%, and now we do have just a few percent said they do trust it. But the overwhelming majority is saying no, we do not trust Wells Fargo.
So not strange at all.
Yeah. And let me give you a couple tidbits of what people said. Annette said, I've heard way too many bad things about them, I should say. And then Green Eat Home says, too big, too much bad press over the years. So
yeah, Money Saver says bad idea to customers. Just because they're in trouble doesn't mean we should go to them. Obviously, go to somebody because they're a good product. Chase also hanging out with us says, think the Federal Reserve capped almost every major bank dividend to make them store money because of coronavirus. So we have not verified that, but Chase, that sounds true. that sounds very true. So good stuff there. Thanks to everybody hanging out with us on YouTube and on Facebook. In just a second, Bobby and I are going to have a big takeaway from today's piece, but we want to say thanks to everybody who's used our link when they've used NordPass. NordPass is the password manager that I like. I use it because it not only pre-fills like a lot of other applications, but it also has this really sleek, easy interface so I can manage my passwords effortlessly. I don't have to reset my passwords again. I can access them wherever I need them on any device. Cheryl and I are able to just see where everything is with one very simple login. Also, you're sharing passwords securely. They use top of the line encryption to protect your vault, used not only by the world's best password managers, but also by the US government to protect their classified information. It is security that you can trust, and you don't have to just come up with one password. Somebody cracks that one, and then they've got all your password. NordPass comes up with passwords for you for not only 50% off if you use our link, but also for a free month and a money back guarantee. Head to nordpass.com/MWF. And by the way, that's Nord as in Nordic, NORDPASS.com/MWF for the free month and 50% off. Bobby, what's our takeaway from today's piece?
So I want to just quickly add to what Chase said and give a little bit of more information regarding the Fed. They do have an asset cap that is mandated by the Federal Reserve. And they have, along with other lenders, I should say, they're not the only ones, but they've sharply increased their loan loss provisioning in anticipation of widespread defaults from borrowers affected by the economic damage inflicted by the pandemic. That comes from the Motley Fool. So I just wanted to give that extra information to what Chase had alluded to, because it is important, and a lot of banks are facing that. My takeaway is that we will see if investors trust Wells Fargo, especially when so many of their competitors also are and probably will soon also be offering similar products. Damaged reputations are tough to come back from. And in this case, the scandals have really kind of kept coming. So we'll see what Wells Fargo does to entice investors to choose them over their rivals.
It's funny as I think about what Wells Fargo has done, and I try to come up with a takeaway, Bobby, that is something not just for a company but for individuals. I often see people do bad things to their credibility because of what they do. It's not what they don't do; it's what they do. And you'll see people online that make statements that they didn't really think about ahead of time. Then they get called out on it. You've seen people lose their jobs because of this. And people say, well, it's free speech, or hey, I just call it like I see it. Well, that's fine, but also customers don't have to go back to you because of this. Your reputation is something that takes years and years to build and can be gone in an instant. And I think we all want to remember that. But Wells Fargo ETFs might be fantastic, Bobby. They might come out with just beautiful products. If nobody trusts you, it doesn't really matter. And that's going to take a long time for them to rebuild. So hopefully they are good. But I think my takeaway is just remember your reputation. And I kind of like the advice from Abe Lincoln, who I believe is the person that said, and I'm not going to be able to directly quote it, but directionally, Abe Lincoln said, it's better to say nothing and have people think that you are stupid than to open your mouth and prove it, right? There are times when saying nothing might be the best thing to do. Talking to you, half the people I know on Facebook.
Whoa. That's going way beyond Wells Fargo, Joe.
Did that?
Whoa.
Well, yes. But your reputation, yes. I see people out there actively damaging their reputation every day.
So
and we don't need to do that. We do not need to do that. Yeah.
Yes. I think we're all home and we are in this little bubble, and we don't necessarily we're not always as cognizant as we should be about how many people are really out there listening. We feel like we're kind of alone or just with our friends, but when you put something out there on social media or wherever, it's out there.
And I agree that goes beyond Wells Fargo, but I think that's my takeaway for a reason, is that Wells Fargo is trying to rebuild a reputation now, and it's going to take a while. And sadly, Wells Fargo can say all day, these are great ETFs. They're fantastic. And there's going to be a bunch of people that are just going to go, no, because they damage the reputation in other areas. Bobby, to help us make the show, to participate in our next Instagram poll, where do people go?
At Money Friends Pod on Instagram and on Twitter. You can also learn more about the show by going to our website, moneywithfriendspodcast.com.
Awesome. And let's talk about this, because we don't do this often. What's coming up on Financial Grown Up?
You know who we have on Financial Grown Up this week, who's awesome, is we have Liz Weston.
Oh, she's so awesome.
She is so awesome. She is, of course, a former co-host on one of our alums here on Money with Friends. She is with NerdWallet and has a great podcast called, I think it's Smart Money Podcast with NerdWallet. And Liz tells a very personal story about incomplete financial paperwork, let's say, where you think you've done what you need to do, but you didn't do everything, and maybe why you need a third party, maybe a professional to look at documents like estate planning, like living wills, things like that, advanced care directives. So she shares a very personal story about something that happened in her family and how it was resolved. And I think it's one of those, quote, important episodes that we need to listen to.
I'll tell you, she takes topics like that and makes them so interesting. She's fantastic. On Stacking Benjamins, we have Rachel Robertson coming up. She was the youngest woman to ever lead a research station on Antarctica. And she talks about how difficult that is. If you're at all interested in leadership, try having a group of people that you cannot fire, who have to work when the sun doesn't come up and everybody gets really depressed while they're there for the winter. And you have to motivate them and lead them. And if they don't do their job, you cannot fire them. You cannot. And so she's got great stories about that coming up on SB. All right. We don't get to do that much.
No, we don't.
That's gonna do it for today. Everybody, Bobby and I are back tomorrow. And then, and by the way, you usually don't hear Bobby and I. Paula Pant and I will be here later the week. She's traveling. So Bobby did the switcheroo with Paula this week. So Bobby and I back tomorrow with more Money with Friends. Bye-bye. 19. That was fun, guys.
Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, it's always, I always am rooting, as you guys can tell, for redemption, for companies to see the light and have a comeback. You know, it's just my nature to be an optimist that way, but I keep being proven wrong.
Isn't that sad?
You can see I'm trying. I'm really trying to be the counterpoint to you, Joe, when we talk about Wells Fargo. And well, Robinhood, I have even a tougher time being the counterpoint. But, we do these shows and it's just hard because I think sometimes things are in the culture. But I do love to point out, and it's important that a lot of good people work at these companies. And people may say, why do you stay? Well, look, the economy is tough. People need to have jobs and maybe they're a force for good and they hope they can turn things around for their clients and so on. So there are good people that work at companies that do bad things. So
I do get very frustrated though. I do get very frustrated by the culture in a lot of these places because it's just funny. I mean, lately we've been on a plane way more than I've wanted to be. And just the difference in culture between Delta Airlines and America Airlines is palpable.
Really?
Just absolutely palpable. Delta Airlines so much friendlier, so much friendlier. And what's weird is American Airlines, by the way, when you're not in the hub, when you're further away from the hub, actually people are nicer. When you get to Dallas, which is where they're based, my experience with not one, not two, but let's say 10 to 15 American Airlines people is those people all seem disgruntled about their job. And when you're that close to your and you're close to your headquarters and you're at your home base, that stuff comes from the top, So.
Yeah. By the way, this is interesting. So in our comments, it seems like it's grouping because you guys were experimenting. We're on both Facebook and YouTube, we believe. And it looks like it's grouping all the Facebook comments at the top. And then all of the YouTube comments are grouped at the bottom. And by the way, those of you who asked me, yes, the comments froze in my taping with Chris earlier this week. They froze. We didn't get any comments during the show. We got comments while we were setting up. And then once we started actually recording on audio, which is no difference in terms of what you guys see, the comments just froze. So I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, Tate had the same thing last week. So
yeah.
All right, we ready to make another show?
We are.
Financial advice on TikTok. What could go wrong?
What could go wrong?
Let me hit record. Oh, my TikTok. Bobby and I are going to make a dance video after this for TikTok.
Yeah. And by the way, Michael is saying, tried to listen, fail. I guess I'll listen tomorrow on the podcast. So I think some of our listeners are having some technical problems. Sorry, guys. We're going to work all this out.
I wonder what is his fail?
I don't know. We'll have to text him afterwards or message him on Facebook.
I was going to say, I think that's just Michael.
Maybe
trying to listen. Well, FWH. What's FWH mean?
Work from home.
Oh, work from home.
Are you being sarcastic?
No.
Oh, Joe.
I'm just an old guy.
By the way, thank you for the compliment, Money Saver. I was actually just on local TV, so I tried to do my makeup today.
Nobody says that to me. This is what I get. Does Joe sleep?
You look tired.
Do I look tired? Oh, no.
I didn't say it.
Oh, no.
I think for 17 hours of driving, you're looking amazing and your lighting is awesome.
My lighting.
Exactly.
All right. We ready to do this?
Yep.
All right. This is for, we're a minute into it, so we can take a minute off. This is for Friday. Are there 31 days in July? Yes. Yes.
Does it matter?
Does holiday? What it is?
We should just say, well, I mean, we could be people's calendar though. We could be the calendar for people so they know what day it is.
Yes.
But does it matter? I don't know. Okay.
You should say that during your open. Today's Friday, July 31st, but does it matter?
Right.
On Money with Friends. Matter? Right.
All right. We ready?
All right. Here we go.
On this episode of Money with Friends, we're talking about bad financial advice on TikTok. Can you imagine? It is Friday, July 31st, but as Joe likes to say, does it really matter what day it is? Welcome to the Money with Friends podcast. I am certified financial planner Bobbi Rebell, host of the Financial Grown Up podcast, coming to you from New York City in my very grown up kitchen.
Believe it or not, coming to you live with an open like that. Hey, and I'm Joe Saul-Sehy coming to you live from Cleveland, Ohio, where Mom's basement is relocated for the next 4 days. I'm Joe Saul-Sehy.
This is the Money News Show that includes commentary on recent headlines and stories with thought leaders from across the financial landscape. We break those stories down into what matters to you guys, our friends. We leave you with a takeaway on top of that so you can make it your own.
Today's show is brought to you by Tiller Money, the place where I go to manage my finances, especially when things are hectic in my life like now. Optimize your financial life in Google Sheets with fast automatic transactions, imports, easy templates, and a free 30-day trial. You can make it as complex as you want or as simple as you want because of the fact that it is a Google Sheet or an Excel spreadsheet. Head to tillerhq.com/MWF for more. It's funny. I've talked about Tiller 5,000 times, Bobby, and I still couldn't figure out what the link was.
Do you even know what day it is, Joe?
Does it matter? I do know.
Does it even matter?
Do you know why I know what day it is? It's because it's Friday. It is because it's Friday.
But what is is Friday really different? I mean, I've had this discussion with my 13-year-old who wants to stay up super late on the weekends. And I said, it's all the same. So we sort of meet in the middle. You can stay up later than usual on the weekdays, but not as late on the weekends because it's all the same.
That is true. I've been saying that it's Friday every day this week. So who knows?
Why not?
In just a second, we're talking about something we talk about a lot here, TikTok. That's because Bobby's big on making TikTok dance videos. So let's get this party started.
All right, this headline comes to us. Oh my goodness, I can't even remember. It came from financialplanning.com, and it is by Ryan Neal. The headline is "Bad Advice on TikTok. Can financial advisors fight back?" Peter Huminski, founder of Thorium Wealth Management, first downloaded TikTok to watch videos sent by his oldest child, who will be a college freshman this fall. After starting with cute cats and people doing silly things, TikTok's algorithm was soon recommending videos aligning with Huminski's professional life as a financial advisor, real estate, insurance strategies, personal finance education, and investment tips, and a lot of bad, even dangerous, financial advice, he says. Quote, more and more of these financial videos started showing up, and I thought, oh my God, this advice is horrible. Though encountering bad financial advice isn't new, the surging popularity of TikTok, especially among young Americans, means poor counsel can reach a huge audience in short order. The video sharing app, which limits videos length to 60 seconds, reached 2 billion downloads in April. TikTok's parent, ByteDance, is valued at $100 billion, according to CNBC, while finance remains a relatively small interest. I mean, who can compete with cool cats, right?
Right.
The hashtag investing tag has 400 million views, while hashtag skincare has 11.2 billion. There is no shortage of insurance salespeople hawking complex annuities or Robinhood day traders. We love those Robinhood day traders here, promoting guaranteed returns. Huminski says, it's amazing. This is a quote. It's amazing how much misinformation and half-truths videos are out there.
Taylor Venanzi, owner of Activate Wealth, says that while he sees some good information on TikTok, the get-rich-quick schemes seem to gain the most traction. There's this one guy that keeps popping up on my feed, basically comparing real estate investing to investing in the stock market, Venanzi says. It's blatantly wrong information, and there's no way for the consumer, especially the uneducated consumer, to navigate that. Huminski is concerned about the influence TikTok's having on the next generation's financial decisions, and with free trading apps like Robinhood making it easy to act on bad advice, Huminski worries people could end up being hurt. To make other advisors more aware of what they're up against, he now shares a TikTok offender of the day to his Twitter feed. One video, oh my goodness, I saw this one, extolling the values of annuities over 401k plans because Huminski's most popular Twitter post to date as advisors weighed in with disbelief and horror. And in fact, no, I won't be able to play it. I wish I could play it. With the 401k, your money's going to go up and down with the stock market. With an annuity, it will only go up. TikTok user Paula Heckenask says in the video. So that means as the stock market goes up, your money grows. If it dips, it stays. It never goes down. Of course, the problem with Hunaski's video is it doesn't discuss fees, which can diminish the cash value of an annuity in a zero or negative growth year, Huminski says. Guarantees and access to the funds can vary widely product to product, and TikTok's 60-second limit makes it impossible to discuss something as complex as annuities with the nuance they require, he adds. The piece goes on. I don't think we need any more than that, though.
No, but I do want to point out that this TikTok thing is kind of a side hustle for Heckenask.
Paula? Yeah.
She is a professional makeup artist. So she's selling insurance on the side.
Well, but here's the bigger thing. Like they say that the big problem is she doesn't explain annuities. That's not the biggest thing. The biggest thing is there are rules that say that she has to disclose that she's a salesperson of annuities, and she doesn't do that. She is actively breaking the law in this video because she's not disclosing that she's getting a big fat commission, often 8%. A lot of people selling annuities will earn in the, you put $100,000 in an annuity, she gets $8,000 to sell that to you. That's a lot of money.
Right. And she's not disclosing the fees and how that factors into the returns that you're going to get. So that's a big, big thing. And a lot of these, part of the problem is that they can be entertaining. They can make things oversimplified. I mean, look, there's some great books that are out there, like the index card book, where they make investing really, really simple. And that's valid because it's things like, spend less money than you make. Okay, that stuff can be simplified. But complex investment products should not be simplified. There's a lot of stuff you actually have to read the paperwork and understand what you're investing in. And so they're not appropriate for these videos. They might be appropriate to give you an idea to go invest in it, investigate it further. But TikTok, look, it's meant to be entertaining. I don't know. I mean, do you think that this is even a place? I mean, so for example, there are some wonderful people. So we have Dr. Brad Klontz, who is one of our former co-hosts. He does TikTok videos that are awesome, and they're entertaining, and they also are very educational, and I think they're great. But he's not selling things on these videos. He's just educating. So there's a big difference between the two.
Yeah, Adrian hanging out with us today on Facebook says, okay, I admit I made a TikTok and I want to share basic finance info for young people who are new to financial independence, like what's a Roth and why were they created? Haven't made a video yet. Adrian, you got to get out there, be a force for good. Definitely need to be a force for good. There's two maxims here, Bobby, that I work from. The first one is this. I believe that financial types of products, not the actual product itself, but types of products were created to fill a need that exists, like savings account, checking account, life insurance, annuity, mutual fund, stock. They all fulfill there's a reason they exist. So I believe that the actual product type is not the problem. So when somebody tells you that a product is bad or a product is good, that's not where you want to start from. You want to start from a process. So whenever anybody tells you, like the one guy that says 401ks are horrible, is bad advice. No, it's not bad. It's fantastic advice. Maybe maxing out your 401k isn't the best advice for everybody. There may be somebody who has goals where they need money right now for a specific thing, and they're young, and there's, that's a tax shelter where you have a lot of issues. An annuity for somebody who has a history of longevity in their family, and they haven't saved a ton of money, and they need guarantees that that money will last forever. An annuity is great for them. But when she compares the annuity to the stock market, it's a lie. It's so not truthful. So when somebody starts with a product is good or bad, I don't listen. And when somebody starts without the process first, I don't listen. Like as an example, Adrian here today with us says, I want to talk about people new to financial independence and just how a Roth works. Like, what are the mechanisms? If I know how it works, then I can choose for myself whether it's good or bad.
Yeah, look, investing, saving, money advice is just not one size fits all. And that's why when you do get to a certain point in life and it makes sense for you financially, and there's a lot of fee-only planners that can help people that may not have a huge budget, it does make sense to pay someone to give you the right advice where they're not being incentivized by something like the large commission you mentioned on the annuity. So they can give you the advice without having other things that are clouding their vision. And of course, it's always good to go to a fiduciary who's going to put your interests ahead of everything else.
John asks, is there a regulatory agency that should hold the lady selling annuities on TikTok accountable that's not disclosing she sells those? The answer is yes. That'd be the Securities and Exchange Commission can go after her. And they have gone after people in the past. There's a few problems there. Number one, we don't know where she's located, right? First, we don't know that she's located in the and I don't know how jurisdictions work, but I think it would be problematic to go after her. She's not inside the United States. Number one. Number two is TikTok itself is a Chinese company that is so going through the layers of TikTok to even get there's this layers of complexity, which makes this idea of going after people online, Bobby, very difficult, which means you and I, all of us listening today, we got to be a little more vigilant because of that.
Absolutely. Yes.
I think we did a Instagram. You're holding up your phone for people listening, which means we did an Instagram poll.
We did. Yes. That's our secret communication that you only get to see if you join us live on Facebook or YouTube, secret. Which, by the way, we should plug that. You should join us on our YouTube channel, which we're trying to grow. So try joining us on YouTube, which you just go to YouTube and search for Money with Friends. And we're also still on the Stacking Benjamins, I Stack Benjamins Facebook page. We asked our Instagram audience, and just to do another plug, at Money Friends Pod is our Instagram handle. We asked our Instagram audience, would you take financial advice from TikTok or other social media? So we did add or other social media, which could include YouTube, it could include Facebook, it could include Instagram, Twitter, and so on.
The bad news is, I think, we've seen studies. That's where most people sadly get their news. They get their information from social media, which is ugly. That's a whole different show. But I think, how'd you phrase the question again?
Would you take financial advice from TikTok or other social media?
Hopefully it's 80% no.
So it was 94% no. However, I want to say this. This is going to be a little bit controversial. I think that people know what the right answer is, and they're not really thinking that they were, even if they don't realize it, even if it's not consciously influenced, but I think that people are influenced by people if they are watching financial advice on YouTube, if they're seeing tweets that might recommend something or might say something. I think people are influenced more than they are. It's not that they're lying in the survey. I think they don't really realize how much we are influenced by our social media more than we may be aware of.
Yeah, agreed.
So we also asked them, which social media platforms do you trust for financial advice and why? And I have not pre-screened these, so let's just see. Okay, so they're answering some of these. So one person, Keith, says none. Okay, and CTM McCoy, one, says Bloomberg, Reuters, Financial Times for the news and updates podcasts like Money with Friends. Thank you. I don't know. Well, I guess we do count as social media because here we are. We're on YouTube.
Yeah.
So I guess I didn't really think about this, but we're kind of looking in the mirror when we say this because we are on social media and we are giving financial perspectives, certainly. And then Green at Home says, I trust YouTube and podcasts for information, but advice has to come from an advisor. I like that. Separating information from advice.
Money Saver says something similar on our YouTube channel, says this is why you need trusted sources, fiduciary, period. Read the prospectus, period. Know your source of information. You and I have talked about this with the financial shows, right? Somebody comes on CNBC, they say gold is a great thing. Turns out that they're a gold fund manager. Who knew, right?
Absolutely. And about that actually leads perfectly into one more comment I want to read from our Instagram audience. This is Charn 3000 says, it's not about the platform. It's about who is behind the advice.
Yeah.
So it's not about the way that the channel, the platform that they're communicating on. It's about whether you trust that individual, because the truth is you can have amazing people. I mean, because let's say David Bach, who I totally trust his financial advice. If he goes on Twitter, if he goes on Instagram, sure, we trust him. If David Bach did a TikTok video, we would trust him. So it's really not about the platform.
David Bach, that hack. I love David Bach. I hope David's watching. David, that's for you. I miss David.
From Italy.
I miss David Bach. Yes, in Italy. I'm sure he's sitting on a veranda somewhere with a glass of Italian wine and maybe some baked ziti or some delicious Italian dish, watching you and I on Money with Friends. I'm sure that's what he's doing.
I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
Hey, in just a second, Bobby and I are going to have our big idea, our takeaway from today's piece, but want to say a big thanks to the people at Tiller Money for sponsoring the show, because Tiller is your financial life in a spreadsheet, automatically updated every day. You can track everything in one place, total control of your financial data. Everything's customizable. Here's the other thing. While TikTok is watching what you do and watching your data, because Tiller is a subscription service where they keep everything completely private. You don't have ads. You don't have everything presented to you in an attractive way. So you end up using their sponsors, which is why I like it and why I recommend this sponsor. If you're listening to us, the reason why I like them is because I can make this work exactly the way I want it. I like, because I've been very busy lately, I like being able to get information on the fly. So I've made my spreadsheets very, very simple. Other people I know used to love using Microsoft Money as a tool. Microsoft Money, by the way, coming back on Excel. And as it comes back, you can plug Tiller right into it. You get it free for 30 days. And there is a monthly subscription fee, which means no advertisements, completely customizable, automatically updated. Check it out at tillerhq.com/MWF to tell them that we sent you. And that's how they pay us as a sponsor of the show. So if you like it, please use our link. All right. That's going to lead us to the big drum roll for today, which is Bobby's big takeaway.
Well, I want to actually, piggyback on what one of our listeners said about trusting not the platform, but the person giving the advice or giving the educational information, and really think about that. So an example of that would be our Money with Friends co-host alone, Brad Klontz. His TikTok videos are so awesome. So everyone should go check them out. They're educational, but they're also incredibly entertaining. The truth is, any medium can have bad actors. It's on us to know the motives of the person giving us financial advice.
It's funny that you say that, because Paul, hanging out with us on YouTube, says Tom Selleck selling reverse mortgages. By the way, reverse mortgages, once again, you hear bad things about reverse mortgages, but it's because there's bad actors there. It's not because the reverse mortgage isn't a bad thing. But Tom Selleck, what does he have to do with reverse mortgages? I think that's a great example. Not that Tom Selleck's bad. I like Tom Selleck's acting. But Tom Selleck and reverse mortgages, totally agree, Paul. So great. I'm just going to say yes, Bobby. You nailed it. That is the takeaway today. If people want to help us make the show, they can take part in our Instagram polls.
Where do they do that? Our handle is @MoneyFriendsPod. That's our handle on Instagram. We post questions, quizzes, polls about the upcoming shows on our Instagram stories @MoneyFriendsPod. That is also, by the way, the handle for our Twitter account @MoneyFriendsPod. You can also join us on our YouTube channel. So subscribe and set up alerts. That is on YouTube. Just search for Money with Friends and you can be part of the show.
If you're new to the show, we have 8 thought leaders who join us for 4 months each. And tomorrow, Paula Pant from Afford Anything is back for another appearance. Bobby was nice enough to switch with her while she's driving around the country right now. So Saturday, Paula and we're going to leave that a surprise we're talking about. But I'll tell you this, Bobby, it's delicious.
Ooh.
Much like
every episode with Paul is awesome. So I can't wait to hear what you guys come up with.
I was going to say, much like David Bach's baked ziti that I made up for him. All right. She's Bobby. I'm Joe. We'll see you next time back here at Money with Friends. Bye-bye. 19. Nice job, guys.
Yeah. Great audience. Thank you so much. You guys were awesome.
Good stuff. Great question, John, on the regulatory agency. Adrian, don't like the sound of my voice. I'll tell you what, that is something, Bobby, I'm sure you can agree with this. When you first start doing this type of work, it's something you seriously got to get used to.
Yeah.
You seriously because like the first couple of years, I'm like, really? Okay. Yeah. Not good. All right. Thanks, John. Next week, I'll be in Vermont for a month. I am definitely slowing down. Gonna go hiking, staying in a little 2-bedroom condo. Gonna just sit in one place for a while. Be nice. Get some outdoors. Hey, something else, Bobby, before we go. While we were with OG in Dallas a few weeks ago, Cheryl did something for the 3rd time in her life. She went golfing with OG, Mrs. OG, and she absolutely loved it. And she's talked about it ever since. Like she's like, I got to go golfing more. And she actually hit the ball.
Swing on through New York on your way. When you come back from Vermont, you have an open invitation to come and play golf with Neil and I.
She hit the ball in the air. She actually, for somebody that doesn't golf much, actually played pretty well. She didn't play well, but she played for the 3rd time.
She made contact with the ball and it went in the right direction. That's good.
Yes. And she and I both, I think I can speak for both of us. We've also mastered the art of bad golf fast. You know what I mean? Like just
No.
don't take all, well, we have friends. I have one friend who kind of made me not like golf anymore. We went golfing with her and her husband. She takes all day to line up the ball. She looks at it and looks at
Oh,
it,
no.
waits, and dribbles it 40 feet. Like I would say half the time, dribbles it
No,
but
that's not
takes
okay. Yeah, they won't
no.
let you where we play, they will not let you on the course. If you don't play properly, you can't come on the course. Certainly on a weekend in the morning, forget it. You are expected to play golf in under 4 hours. And
Yeah.
for a lot of the events, you really have to have a handicap, and be reasonable that you won't slow down play, is what I would say. They're very strict on the time. A lot of golf courses are like that, where
Well,
they
sure.
expect you to keep up.
Well, and the cool thing is, because she doesn't play very often, she sometimes hit it a bunch, as you can imagine. She picked up the ball and then
Yeah.
we drove the cart down to my ball. She set it down by my ball because we're not keeping
Just
score.
play best ball. You can play
Absolutely.
best ball.
Yeah, had a great
We
time.
do events like that.
By the way, Paul, it's funny when you talk about a worm burner. I have a different definition because I play golf once a year, whether I need to or not. If it's a worm burner that goes 100 yards, I'm good. Like that's good. But if I hit it 20 yards, it's bad. Worm burner 100 yards, fine, great.
What's a handicap? So a handicap is sort of your score of how good you are, and it's better to be lower. So I have a bad handicap because I just got a handicap for the first time this year. It's the first time I've taken it seriously. So my handicap is 36. That's bad.
That means, does that mean you add 36 strokes to your score? Or you
right?
decrease
Like
36?
basically, it means if they play a tournament where they're trying to make it even with the really good players. So let's say a good player has a handicap of, let's say, 18, just to make it easy. They might get one extra hit, and I'll get 3 extra hits.
Yeah, you get 3 extra hits
above what it is. So if you have a hole that's a par 4, my 7 is equal to their 5.
Yeah.
So if I get a 7 and they get a 5, we're tied.
Yeah.
So I have a bad handicap. 36 is bad. It could be worse though. It could be worse. But yeah, so they're having a club championship, and there's the A level, the B level, the C level. I will be playing in the C level, but I will be playing.
I would be playing.
I'd
be playing in the Z level. Yes. I don't know. It's funny. One of these communities we visited, Valdosta, Georgia. Somebody there was talking about a golf club there where nobody really takes it seriously. They have it's a couples night, and you go out and you play best ball with your couple. A lot of people don't even keep
We do
score.
that.
And they pair you with
mulligans
different
and martinis. Yeah, we have that. We have like bogeys and they have all these cute names,
bogeys and brandy or something.
Yeah, exactly. Bogeys and brandy and that kind of thing. And they literally have a drinks cart that goes around. It's drunk golf.
Oh, but yeah,
that's just all it is. So you invite another couple, and by the 3rd or 4th hole,
it doesn't matter.
It's a mess.
Well, this is cool because we wouldn't know anybody if we moved there, and they pair you with a different couple every week, so that you just get to know people.
Yeah, it's super fun. A lot of golf courses are really fun, and I think the days of fuddy-duddy golf are fading. So everyone should check out golf. It's not that serious, and everyone can have fun.
But my problem with golf has always been I'm on hole 3, and I think this is the most fun ever. I get to hole 14, and I'm like, why the hell am I still out here? Like hasn't this ended? My ADD kicks in probably about hole 10 or 11. 9's a good number for me.
This was the first year I played 18 holes, Joe. Everyone. Yeah. I would always play 9 and really like twice a year. And then this year, because there's nothing else to do, we've been playing golf, and I've worked up to 18 holes because the women at the golf club, that's what they play. And they kind of said to me, we want to play with you, but we play 18. So, I had to step it up. So
hey, easy. Valdosta. Easy. It was a pretty town. I thought it was very pretty. All right, guys. Have a fantastic day.
Bye, everyone.
On that note, bye-bye.